Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. It's days like this that make me glad the worst of the summer is gone. Of course, the media would say it was an absolute heat wave, but no, that's just summer. And I can tell you right now, I was sweating buckets. Who said the only buckets you have are KFC? Shut up, you. I'm not that bad. But no, for once, there's actually some bloody good news. The people of Epping are victorious. The people in the migrant hotels have been basically booted out of Epping, and this whole thing has been cancelled. Even better still is Epping Hotel are taking the Home Office to court. While I wish them good luck, I think I have a sneaky suspicion how these courts are going to rule. Now, this is just one city, I grant you, but you have to bear in mind some people have come over from all over the country to support the people of Epping. Where we go one, we go all, or something to that effect. But basically, they are not alone. And I never will be because I'm two people. Anyway, they are not alone in this fight. And there are more places that need to be protested against. There's all manner of hotels that are housing these foreign invaders. The ones that are interested in getting touchy-feely with our women and children. The types of people you would not want to be seen in a dark alley with. And they all seem about as friendly as hornets on an LSD trip. Well, they're buzzing one way or another, let me bloody tell you. But I digress. Of course, the migrant hotels are not the only thing I want to talk about, as there is a young man that I need to discuss who has been subjected to absolutely disgusting abuse from the left. Now, I think the lad's name is Bob, but I remember seeing some of the footage. I saw him getting milkshaked, I saw him getting egged, and then there was some silly little twerp basically going up to him and say, "What makes you think that a 17-year-old virgin is entitled to have an opinion on anything?" I mean, he may be a virgin, but I can tell you this much free of charge. This vicious old cunt isn't going to get any action herself. I don't think she would even classify as jailbait. I think her intelligence must have gotten pissed away when she was last on the toilet. And let me tell you something, if you're listening to this, you left-wing shill. He's got far more integrity than you'll ever have. He's got more integrity in one finger than the whole of you lefty NPCs collectively put together in your entire bodies. But I want to go back to the two people that egged him and milkshaked him, because what they did there was assaulting a minor, technically, because he is actually a teenager. But they ended up attacking a young person. I wonder if our two-tier police are going to do their fucking job and take out the trash. I suspect not, because we've seen this shit happen time and time again when it's people like Tommy Robinson getting milkshaked, when it's people like Nigel El-Faraji getting milkshaked, although there was one girl who ended up getting arrested and she ended up getting charged and found guilty for it. But in the end, I don't think anything was really done about her, or at least not enough, quite frankly. Why is it our two-tier policing society can't be asked to go after people who commit assault, yet they're willing to go after a person who planted a bacon sandwich on a mosque? Someone please explain that to me. Our two-tier policing society would rather arrest the people who are concerned that these migrants might be doing unspeakable things to our kids than actually do anything about said foreign invaders. But Bob didn't say anything that could be construed as far right. He didn't see anything controversial. He didn't say anything that genuinely got him arrested or would have got him arrested. He was merely stating what we've all basically been stating about these foreign invaders in the hotels. Because whether you like it or not, a lot of these people in the hotels have come over illegally, and they've crossed at least a dozen countries to get here, which means they have no legal or human right to be here, quite frankly. And I mean, even one of these ponces that attacked him was even wearing a kilt, so he isn't exactly obscure, is he? I mean, the fucker stands out like a drunk vicar in a church. And I dread to think what his sermon is. Anyway, these people stand out like a sore thumb. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them had their faces plastered over CCTV. So surely when they saw this footage, surely the police should have come in and arrested them. Just like that. But they didn't. And I suspect they won't. Because obviously, we know we live in a two-tier policing society. More interested in policing the tweets rather than the streets. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks? Because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. And I don't want to go too much on a rant against the two-tier police. What the fuck? Anyway, I don't want to go on too much of a rant about the two-tier police, because I did that in my last video. But I will just leave it at this as far as the police is concerned. You need to do your job, or the people are going to come in and take out the trash for you. And let's face it, they would have acted instantly if it was Bob attacking like a Muslim preacher or a foreigner preaching that we should all be welcome. I guarantee you Bob would have been pulled off the streets quicker than you could say two-tier. But our media would more focus on who the far right are. They'd rather focus a bit more on who is worried about their kids, who's worried about these invaders who are coming into our hotels, when they are a genuine concern. These people aren't far right. They're concerned parents, concerned patriots, concerned citizens. And what we need right now is we need robust action. Because in the end, these guys are breaking down our cultures, breaking down our societies, and breaking down cohesion and peaceful talks. That's what it boils down to. Because the more this happens, the more pissed off the English are going to become. And the more pissed off the English become, the more likely civil war's going to break out, which is what Keir the traitor Starmer wants. But again, the mainstream media are not going to want to tell you that. But the way I see it is, at least today was a victory for Epping. At least this hotel, which was a genuine hotel before these invaders were allowed to flood their hotels and treat their staff like dirt, they will at least attempt to try and take on the Home Office. And I do hope they succeed, because they deserve some justice for having to be a part of the oligarchy's schemes. We will not accept this shit anywhere. We won't accept it here in Norwich. We won't accept it in Epping. We won't accept it in London. We won't accept it in Glasgow. We won't accept it in Ireland. We're not accepting it, period. We should be prioritising our native people first. Fuck the foreigners. Focus on us first. Once we're able to support ourselves, once we're able to stand our own 2 feet, then and only then should we even remotely consider helping anyone else. Because last time I checked, England was built by Christians, not Muslims, not invaders, Christians. And last time I checked, Jesus was a Christian, not a Muslim, like some silly little twat tried to make out. Other countries wouldn't tolerate this if we decide to flood their hotels. Why should we tolerate it? These invaders in our hotels are as welcome as a fart in a car. Thank you. Speaking of farts in a car, I am going to basically extend the video a little bit. Let me tell you a little story about a time where I was heading out and I ended up experiencing much worse than a fart in the car. So, me, my granddad, my nan, my mum, my sister, we were all heading out to, I believe, Great Yarmouth, and I believe we were heading down past, it was the route where the Blue Boar pub is, I believe, or was. I don't know if it still exists anymore, as it's been a long time since I've been on the road. Now, as we were travelling up, turned out my granddad, he hadn't actually been to the bathroom before he goes, and he usually does. He's usually a meticulous man, bit of an arse at times, but he always cared about your money, which is ironic when we're going to the arcades. But anyway, he ended up passing the Tesco's, or coming up to it, sorry, and he actually needed to go to the bathroom, so he ended up saying, I've got to park in here because I need to go to the bathroom. And, well, basically he went in. Now, what we didn't know at the time was what was about to transpire in the car, let me tell you. But effectively, he goes to the bathroom. Turns out, he'd already shat himself, unfortunately, God rest his soul. But he ended up absolutely crapping himself, ended up completely covered. And when he came out of Tesco's, you would almost think he was attacked by the shit demon from Scary Movie, I swear to God. I mean, he is literally plastered with that stuff. And, well, he got back to the car and he basically, well, he opened the door and we were like, what the fuck is that smell? And obviously we saw it and basically we questioned, what on earth is that? And my granddad, in his humour, goes, well, that shit, and that shit, and that shit, and that shit, and that shit. So he had he had to drive back to his house and basically get a complete change of clothes, wash the shit off, and all this time we were travelling back in the car and we were all trying so hard not to fucking laugh because of what happened. It stank something awful, but man, it really was one of those things where it was like, oh my God, how could this happen? So obviously he ended up cleaning his act up and we ended up going back to Yarmouth. So there you go, there's another story for you. But every time I think of these illegal immigrants that are in the hotel, that is the smell I think of, quite frankly. Those hotels, if they should be housing anyone, they should be housing those that are homeless. Ideally the veterans first, the ones that fought for this country. Not these invaders who come from their third world shitholes to turn our country into a third world shithole. And I know people aren't going to like me saying that, but at the end of the day, these invaders from the Middle East, they have crossed so many countries just to get here. As I said, I can't blame them wholeheartedly, because they want the best in the world, and we are the best. Right, we got 2 packages through the door. One of them wanted, and the other one not. It's that time of the fucking month again. Yeah. Red envelope. You know this is going to be good. Yep. I'll give you 3 guesses who this is from. Because they always do this shit. And obviously I'll be reading it off screen as I don't want to accidentally dox myself again. So, what does it say? Oh, I wonder. I am in absolute suspense, said no one ever. Dear legal occupier, as you have not responded to our letters yet, you have left us no alternative but to proceed with the final stages of our investigation. Oh no! Anyway, an officer has been scheduled to visit my address to find out if TV is being watched, recorded or downloaded illegally. I need a moment here. Because my brain cells are losing IQ. Anyway, the officer may visit your property any day of the week, morning or evening. The information below explains the procedure. You may refer to it during a visit from the officer. Yours faithfully, Scott Robson, Regional Manager Enforcement. So, what do you need to know about the enforcement process? We can apply to court for a search warrant to gain access to your property. Go ahead. Go right ahead. Apply for that warrant. It's your expense, not mine. An officer may Stroke number 1. An officer may interview you under caution. No, he doesn't. He cannot interview me under caution because he's not the fucking cops. If he was the cops, then and only then would he be able to. These capital license goons, these TV license goons, like to prey on your inability to do research. They like to think that you are not going to be clued up enough to know your rights and theirs. They cannot force entry. They cannot use intimidation tactics. They cannot enter your house without your permission. And the only way they're going to get permission is if you're stupid enough to let them in, quite frankly. The only other way they're going to get to you is if you let something slip. But we'll come to that, because I'm pretty sure it'll mention something about the legal costs and all that shit. Anyway, anything you say to the officer may be used as evidence in court. Well, even if that is true, I have done nothing. I have nothing to hide. I haven't downloaded BBC iPlayer. I don't watch anything on iPlayer. I don't have a TV. I don't watch live TV. I don't record live TV. So all this stuff is a moot point for me. I just love making them waste their hard-earned money having to send these bits of paper to me in their hopes that they're going to intimidate me into a TV license, which they can take one of these and swivel, quite frankly. You may have to pay a fine of up to £1,000 plus any legal costs and or compensation. Yeah, well, most people only have to pay like 200, 300 quid tops as far as the fine's concerned, so at that point, you're probably still better off not paying the TV licence. Now, let me be clear, I'm not advocating for anybody to break the law. I'm just saying, in perspective, when you've got a TV licence that, as it says on here, is 175 quid near enough, and you're getting fined 200, 300, at that point, it doesn't make a shit's worth of difference, does it? Anyway, if your property needs a TV licence, you will still need to buy one. But here's the thing. TV licence goons, as I said, they cannot unlawfully enter your home. They can only enter with your permission. They can't interview you under caution. Only the police are able to do that. And any evidence that you say can be given in evidence in court, well, that's only if they have the footage, and that's only if there's any footage to record, quite frankly. But in the end, what these people are, and they never want to admit this, is they're glorified salesmen. They just like to put a crown on their heads and they themselves think they're actually an officer of the law, when they are about as much of an officer in the law as I am a master of fitness. And now for something completely different. Because I did place a little order. Nothing too expensive, mind. Oh my god, it looks dirty, to be honest. But this is more than the English flag. Where the fuck is it? Where's the hood? Ah, there it is. Yes. I've decided to buy a cloak. And I feel fucking stupid now. Dude, this thing is too far down. Oh, God. But yeah, this is effectively... What? You know what? I've done it inside out, haven't I? For fuck's sake, man. Oh, my God. I'll get it right. I promise. I will get it right eventually. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. But... once I get this on, tie this around, but this is basically supposed to be the English flag. I'll get there in the end, folks. I'm a patriotic idiot. Oh dear. But as they say, it takes one to know one. That's the way I look at it. But yes, I think I will be very much fucking enjoying this. I might even wear this to work one day, who knows. But that'll be another story for another time. Way I look at it is, I kind of look like fucking, what is it, Granny from Red Riding Hood, don't I? Anyway, the way I look at it, and the bottom line is this. Epping has had a victory today. This is the first of many. As long as we are willing to go out there and put ourselves in the streets, ready to take on the establishment at every turn, every city, whether it's Essex, whether it's London, whether it's Norwich, whether it's Glasgow, whether it's Ireland, we need to keep fighting. We need to remember, this is what we're fighting for. This flag, this country, the English men and women of this country, the women and children, we fight for them as well. We will not stop fighting. We will keep fighting for what is right, because we know our cause is just. We are on the right side of history. We will not sit idly by while we have sectarian traitorous bastards like Keir the Traitor Starmer trying to replace our culture, trying to replace this flag. We will not have it. Rule Britannia, the way I see it. Rule Britannia, and long may she reign. Because I'll tell you now, we will do everything we can to protect stroke number 2, protect the children. Whereas Keir the traitor Starmer, he doesn't care about the children. Because like that song that we sometimes sing, that is how they rule you.